state of Florida has issued a Category 5 hurricane warning. All residents must evacuate immediately. Grab your families, your loved ones, and get out.
Dad!
We won't be able to come for you.
Dad! Dad! Oh my God! What happened?
Are you hurt?
I'm fine. Hello, can anybody hear me? I'm trapping my father in our house in Coral Lake.
Run!
Please send help.
Billy!
Wait, down here.
Pete, you hear that? In less than an hour, we'll be underwater. Banging on the pipes blurs their senses. I can distract them for you. You got this! You need to go now.
I'm not leaving you here. Come on, you son of a bitch!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to 31 Days of Monsters. I'm your host, Graham Nolan, and we are 14 days into this, 2 weeks in to our monster movies. Is this a monster movie? Well, I guess you could say it's a creature feature because the same way Jaws is, with a killer shark. But here we have a bunch of different, gators running around chewing up people. I like this movie a lot. Julie and I watched it the other night, and it was like one of those edge of your seat type things. Like, what more can go wrong with this not husband and wife, but father and daughter? I mean, they just kept, one of the things when you're writing a story is, throw everything in the kitchen sink at your protagonist. And that's what they did in this. They just, every time you thought they're going to get away or they had a break, something else would happen. So I like that. I like the pace and the ramped up tension. And I thought they did a good job with that. Also, the special effects, I thought the gators looked amazingly real. Having grown up in Florida, I've seen plenty of them. And I thought they looked and sounded really cool and believable. Because that's one of the things that'll take you right out of it. The Florida scenery looked real too. All that stuff was really good at immersing you into the, sort of unbelievable premise that they're giving you. I'm glad the dog survived. I was getting a little nervous there when the father was over by the stairs and the dog was swimming towards him. I thought for sure after they've thrown everything else at us that the dog was going to get it. And that would have pissed me off. You can kill all the people you want, but don't kill the dog. He's innocent. What else? I thought the cast is great. Barry Pepper, I've loved ever since I seen him in 61, where he played Roger Maris. He does an amazing job in that. And this is sort of a thankless job. He's beaten up the whole time. He's halfway in mud or water the whole time. He's yelling and screaming, but he does a good job at conveying his love for his daughter and, some of the, not exposition, but the foreshadowing here is pretty obvious. We first meet her when she loses a swimming meet, so we know she's going to have to swim to save herself, in the waters against the alligators. So a little heavy-handed there. They maybe could have done that with a little more finesse, but by and large, for a modern, horror movie, which is hit and miss these days anymore, I thought this was, plenty of action and fun. and edge of your seat type thing, because they kept ramping up the stakes. So in that respect, I thought it was really good. Um, what else? What else? What else? Oh, well, once you get past that, and let's talk about some of the negatives here. It's there's some aspects of suspension of disbelief that you have to just let go of. For one, this father has got a broken leg. I mean, compound fracture. The damn thing is just hanging on by meat, and yet he puts weight on it when he's going up a stair. No friggin' way. That thing would be dangling. It's just rubber at that point. There's no way you can put pressure on it. Same thing with swimming. It would just be flopping, and causing untold amounts of pain. Then, okay, so he puts a tourniquet on it, and, he shows you putting the leg into its place, but that's only great if you're setting the leg. There's nothing keeping it in there. It's going to flop right out. There's no splint on it or anything. So that one was a tough sell. Some of the attacks, like when she got bit by the arm and she's shooting, got her arm down the throat of the gator and she's shooting. There's probably a good chance she would have had it torn off. The same way the father eventually gets his arm torn off, and yet doesn't bleed out to death. I mean, this guy's like the tourniquet king. He can tourniquet the shit out of himself. He's got one leg that's completely torn open. Now he's missing part of his arm, and yet he's tying tourniquets, and he still has the energy with that blood loss to keep going. So those are two things which you have to just kind of just give up in a horror movie. You can't look too deeply. But the one unforgivable thing at the end is the helicopter showing up. You got a Category 5 hurricane. There is no friggin' way a helicopter will be in the air. It can't stabilize. It would just first off, there's no pilot in the world that would launch, that they would put in the air. So I thought that was silly. They maybe should have had the eye of the hurricane fly over then, or once they got up to the roof, start the skies clearing, and going from there, letting us know that they've been rescued, or a boat coming by, something along those lines. The idea of the helicopter was just, crazy, and that's how they ended it. So I was like, that wasn't good, but by and large, fun movie. I liked it. Let's see what you guys have to say. All right, Chris Juliano is here. I like this one. Did a good job with the Crocs. Gators, Chris. I mean gators. He caught himself. Her leg probably would have broken when that gator bit her in the beginning. Yeah, possibly. I mean, he had her by the tip of the snout, I'm sure there'd be puncture wounds, but it's possible it wouldn't have broken if I can't remember if he shook her. If he shook her, it probably would have. Anthony 0358 is here. He says hi to everyone. Dr. Mask's retro. We'll just go with Dr. Mask. Okay. He says I was planning to watch it and got called into the office. I'll have to check it out another time. It's worth it. Dr. Mask also reminds us to sign up for the Shinu 77 prequel the world has been waiting for. Absolutely. You horror fans, you got to get signed up for this thing. We're going to be launching Thursday the 23rd. And I posted the first cover on X, so you can take a look at that. Looks pretty amazing, if I do say so. Rob Fellows is here. Hail Graham's Gator Group. We're going to beat these Peace-side lizard shits. Another good quote from Rob. Excellent. Man of War 665 is on the road. He says, hail amigos. Amanda Gross says this is one of the Gator movies that I like and could be believable. Yeah, I think so. My first thought when I was watching this, when they go into the garage and they got that thing opened up, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. There are no basements in Florida. You go down, 3 feet in some places and you're hitting salt water. it's only 11 if you're by the water, it's like 11 foot above sea level. So there's no basements, but there are a lot of houses that are raised up that don't sit on pads, and that's what this was. They were just going down underneath the flooring to that. So, I was like, okay, good. They did a little research there. Chris liked it. He says it was played real. Effects very well made. I thought so. I thought the stakes were great. I thought the relationship that they kind of fleshed out between dad and daughter was great. Mr. David Williams, yo, Graham, why were you not on the Kings last night? You would have kicked butt. Not mine, mind you. Yeah, unfortunately, I chose to watch the Buffalo Bills last night instead of being on Kings. And I regretted it because the Bills played terribly. They've been playing terribly for the last like 3 games. I don't know what's getting into them, but it sucks. And I should have been on there kicking butt, David. And yours included, Pally. Yeah, Pepper was good in Saving Private Ryan as well. Man of War 665, Graham, gators, pets and kids are top of the menu. Very true. Did you ever see that video of that Australian woman? She's out in her backyard and a crocodile comes up to try and get her little dog, and she's got an iron skillet. And she's swinging this iron skillet. And she's whacking this croc on the snout and the head, and she sends the thing back into the water and saves her dog. They build them tough down under there, I'll tell you. It seems these gators don't bite very hard. Yeah, the bite strength on a gator's mouth is very, very powerful. One of the most in the animal kingdom. I think, I think it's like, well, a crocodile, like a saltwater croc, then a great white shark, and I think the top is the hippopotamus, but I'm not positive on that. Don't quote me. If you want to read a really good story about a Florida hurricane, pick up The Ghosts of Matacumba Key. Good advice, Dr. Mask. Yeah, that takes place in the most powerful hurricane to ever hit the shore of the United States, the 1935 Labor Day hurricane that hit Matacumba Key down in the Florida Keys. It's a great adventure and ghost story and crime story as well. So check it out, guys. Hoot and Holler 635. I really like this one. I live on the Gulf Coast, and those gators are pretty believable. I thought so. Rob Fellows, it reminded me of the original Twister. Great balance of human versus force of nature with heart and hopeful ending. Chris Juliano says, this isn't Citizen Kane. No, but it is the Citizen Kane of alligator movies. Well, you and me both. But they deserved it. They played like shit. And that is true, too. Stippling says the Bills play like shit and lose, while the Steelers play like shit and win. Makes no sense. Now, the Bills played like shit for like three or four games now, and they happen to win some, and now they're starting to lose. Rob says there were some nice visual plot touches, like the cages coming into play several times, the for sale sign, the Jaws toy at the start. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Another suspension of disbelief is her trapping the gator in the shower stall. I mean, you're talking about 800-pound gator, 900-pound gator, something like that. Not being able to break a shower stall glass. Just that tail whipping around alone would do it. Okay. All right, guys. Seems like folks like this one. I'm glad. Tomorrow, what do we got tomorrow? Where's my list? Bunch of crap printed out here. Oh, there we go. I think it's the Vampire Circus. Yes, it is. The Vampire Circus from 1972. Remember 1972 Hammer films are when they introduced nudity into their films. And this one's no different. There's some boobism going on, but this is actually pretty good vampire film. It's got a good cast, believable, and a lot of fun. In fact, I like these vampire Hammer films that they released in the 70s, the early 70s. They don't seem as stodgy as the ones in the 60s, and certainly not in the 50s. They kind of let it all hang out, which I kind of like. All right. So that's it. It's Dr. Mass says it's on Tubi again, so you can watch that for free. The Ring is on Tubi also, which is the following movie. I'm watching that one today, actually. So you can get that one for free as well. And then after that is Near Dark, and I'm told Near Dark is on YouTube. So we got some freebies coming up, which is great. All right, my friends, have a great rest of your day. I got to go back to building my Shinu 77 campaign, and I will see you on the other side tomorrow. Bye-bye.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.